Hi all, hope y'all are doing well, having a great Friday so far. So I wanted to just take a few minutes just to come to you via video. This is something I'm going to do periodically throughout the semester. So I just kind of wanted you all to get kind of familiar with seeing me and seeing these videos pop up every so often. One, I like to do them so that it gives me an opportunity to kind of just talk with you and for you all to, kind of hear some information from me about the class, about assignments that you have coming up, things like that. But I also like for this to be an opportunity for you to actually see that I'm a real person and just see me in the flesh. I know that I posted some videos in my opening announcement for the semester, but I always like to do this so you all kind of know there is a man truly behind the curtain in this case, assessing your work, giving you feedback and things like that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just kind of go over some basics of things you have to complete coming up, and things that of course you'll want to keep in mind currently in the next couple of weeks, but also things you'll want to keep in mind as you move throughout the remainder of the course. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. So let me share my... Okay, so what I wanted to do is just kind of show you a little bit of our course, just so you can kind of see some of the information that you're going to want to cover in the upcoming weeks. So for this week, your only major tasks were to log in, complete the mandatory attendance quiz, and then complete the introduction discussion board, which again, I'll be reviewing those and commenting on those and giving you some feedback and things like that within the next couple of days. But beyond that, a couple of things I want to just mention to you. So the first thing you're going to want to do, of course, in this class is make sure that you're really familiar with, of course, the syllabus and the schedule. You'll see that up here at the very top in this green bar. Refer to the syllabus and refer to the schedule regularly. That is where you're going to find my office hours, my cell phone number, my office number if you'd like to get in contact with me. You'll be able to see due dates for all of your, for a good number of your assignments in the syllabus, and then for all of them, they will be in the schedule. So again, either one of those places is going to be a good place for you to go to get information about what's coming up, what's due when, things like that. Also know that if you go to our course calendar, you'll be able to see all the due dates and things there. In fact, when you log into GoView, pretty regularly, whenever an assignment is going to be due, you will get a notification of that, I believe a day or two beforehand. So do keep those things in mind. But for the next couple of weeks, what you're going to be really focusing on are a couple of different things. So the first one is going to be making sure that you review, plagiarism and kind of go through this information, take a look at it, make sure you have a really good understanding of what plagiarism is and why it is something that's really important, not just to this class, but it's an important thing to keep in mind in general. There will be a quiz associated with it, and then of course the quiz is down here. It is due January the 22nd by 11:59, excuse me. And of course you can find it here in your content, or if you go to assessments and quizzes, you can find it there as well. But then also you'll notice you do have a plagiarism discussion post. So make sure that you complete that by the 22nd at 11:59. There will be an article within the content here that you'll need to read, and you'll need to respond to these questions. Now, you'll notice here in the discussion instructions that I have a note here in red. What I like to do with this particular discussion board in this class, every time I teach it, I like to use this board as a diagnostic, meaning I'm using this as a way to gauge how you are as a writer and who you are as a writer up to this point. It gives me a good chance to kind of just get a glimpse and a snapshot of you and kind of where your writing skills lie at the moment and where are some areas that we can work on. So the way that this board will work is that if you do the board, if you answer these questions, if you complete it the way that it is outlined here, you will get full credit. You will get 100. So if you do that, again, make sure to have that completed. You'll get the full credit. But what I will do is I will have the rubric. I will mark the rubric where your grade would be based on certain criteria, and then give you detailed feedback about what you did well within the post, within your writing and within your content, where you could improve. And again, a lot of the improvements tend to be grammar, sentence structure related, things like that. And what I like to do is after I grade this entire board, and I've graded every one of the submissions, I take all of the different things that you all as a class have struggled with, or maybe maybe could use a little bit more support with, I find resources and I put those resources into a new folder in content in our course. So you can refer back to those regularly. And again, whenever I do get this graded and have those resources available, I will let you know. So that's what that little red, those instructions in red mean. Again, it's a diagnostic. If you do it, you get 100. And of course, I'll give you detailed feedback and give you things to think about as you move into future discussion boards and, of course, into your essays and things later on in the semester. So that is going to be the next thing you're going to really want to keep in mind after completing all the couple of introductory assignments for this week. Plagiarism is a big thing that I want you all to keep in mind. I don't have this in this course, to try to, kind of beat you over the head with it. I know that most people know what plagiarism is, but one of the things that does happen in this course, and it happens in a lot of courses, plagiarism occurs, sometimes completely intentionally. I've had students try to pull fast ones on me. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for them. But then sometimes there's unintentional plagiarism. You forget to cite something, or you forget to include a source, or just something happens. So I like for everyone who takes any of my courses to kind of just know what plagiarism is, know what my expectations are, and kind of have a good base, a good level playing field moving into the rest of the semester, particularly as we approach higher stakes assignments. So again, if you have any questions about this discussion board, please let me know. Also note that if you go to our syllabus, down toward the bottom, and I would encourage you to take a look at this, there is a section dedicated to plagiarism and academic academic dishonesty. My plagiarism policy for this class is listed there. Again, I don't expect any of you to plagiarize. I don't. But I have a policy there just in case something happens. And we have to, of course, refer back to it. So do keep that in mind. All right, and then the next thing I want to do is show you, well, before I get to Unit 1 and to talk about it a little bit, you'll notice underneath the How to Succeed in This Course, where plagiarism information is, there are some writing lab videos. These are pretty new to this course, and they're really helpful. I really like them. A lot of the videos here I will be referring to throughout the course of the semester. I may link to them when I give you feedback on an assignment. So if there's a particular thing that you struggle with, or that I notice that you struggle with, I may refer you to this. So one of the things I might encourage you to keep in mind, particularly as we're in these early weeks and you're maybe trying to get your feet wet in content for the class, go and take a look at these writing lab videos. Again, they're meant to be really short. They deal with a lot of really good topics here. Again, thesis statements, that's one that I really would encourage you to focus on, because that's something that people struggle with, especially when you're in your early English classes, and of course transitioning from there into potentially your major level classes. So do keep that in mind. The building your annotated bibliography, that might be really useful, because we will have annotated bibliography assignments kind of in piecemeal throughout the course of our semester together. And then Unit 1, the Introduction to Literary Analysis. So one of the things you'll notice as you scroll throughout this particular unit, and again, I won't show you everything in depth, but there are a good number of things within this unit to complete. This is probably, in terms of tasks, one of the more labor-intensive units for this class, because there are several discussion boards you'll need to complete. There's a good bit of reading you'll need to do. So the first discussion board you're going to start with is actually, or the first area you're going to want to start with, is the rhetorical analysis and creative nonfiction section. So for this, you're going to be looking over what a rhetorical analysis is. Some things to, there's going to be some information within there talking about how to approach literary works, how to approach creative nonfiction. There's 3 pieces here that you can read: Living Like Weasels, Black Men in Public Space, and About Men. These are 3 really good pieces. I particularly like these pieces because various parts of them speak to things that are happening in our culture, currently happening in our world, that are really important. And I think it's really good to be able to read about them in this course, and then of course to talk about them through your discussion posts and engaging with one another, and of course engaging with me through the feedback that I'll be giving you. So you'll see that you do have a discussion board for the creative nonfiction. And of course, as you scroll down further, there's analysis related to visual text. You will have to do some ad analysis. That's very important because a lot of us, I think, tend to think the ads that we see and the visuals we see are there just because they're there. they're there because there's purpose behind them and there's depth to them and there's some kind of message that the folks that created it are trying to convey, and also there's messages there that sometimes we can glean that other people may not be able to see. So the ad analysis is always really interesting work as well. And then of course we'll be dipping our toes a little bit into literary criticism within this unit. And this is where you'll be doing a discussion board specifically on the schools of literary criticism. Now, and there is also an extra credit discussion board in here as well. But again, I'll talk more about that later. But this is just kind of a glimpse. Now, I know this seems like a lot of information for one unit. But the beautiful thing is, let me pull this back to me. The beautiful thing is you do not have to complete this all in 1 week. That would be insane if I was asking you to do that. So know that you are going to have several weeks to complete these different discussion boards and deal with this first unit. Again, it is a bulky unit. There's a good bit of reading. There's a lot of things to consider. But please know that one of the things that I value very much so in this class, I value, of course, you all completing your work and completing it to the best of your abilities. And of course, reaching out to me, engaging with me whenever you have questions, that's really important to do. And I do really strongly encourage you to stay in contact with me, especially if you have questions, concerns, whatever it might be. I'm really good at getting back to my students pretty quickly, at least 24 hours, most of the time less than that. Because I check my email multiple times a day, particularly when I'm teaching, of course. But also, one of the things that I value as well is, in addition, along with you all giving me your very best efforts and your very best work, I value giving you feedback that's going to be useful and meaningful to you. One of the things that I will tell you is that my feedback at first may seem a little bit extensive, meaning that I'm going to write a good bit in response to you. One, that's because I value what you're doing, and two, I want to give you as much feedback, as much useful feedback as I can early on in the course, because one of the things you'll notice, and I'll mention this again as we move throughout the semester, as we move forward in the course, there will be periods where I will begin to back off on the feedback that I give you. One, because we'll be moving forward in the semester and there won't be as much time to give you detailed feedback. But two, at a certain point, you all will know what to work on because we will have discussed it in your feedback. I'll have talked about it in your feedback several times. So do keep that in mind as we move forward. One of the things I want to mention about the discussion board, and this is important, for pretty much every discussion board, I think the plagiarism discussion board is the exception. You will have to do an initial post, and then you will have to reply to 2 of your classmates. Now, a reply is not where you just write back, "This is a great post, thanks." I don't want it to be that short. If it is that short, there will be points deducted. Not because I'm mean, but because I want you all to actively engage with one another and think about what the person who wrote that initial post said, how maybe it relates to what you wrote, and maybe ask some follow-up questions. Again, try to engage in a dialogue. I'll be chiming in on the discussion boards in the threads here and there, and of course giving you extensive feedback on the back end. But the discussion boards are really meant to be a place for you all to engage with one another's content, how you've interpreted the content, what might be similar to what you wrote about, what might be different, and asking those critical questions to dig a little bit deeper into the text. Okay, I am running a little bit longer than I'd like, so I'm going to wrap up with one last thing. So one of the things that I mentioned is that, of course, I'm available. You can contact me via email. You can call me. In the syllabus is my office number and my cell phone number. If you do reach me, if you do call me at one of those and I don't pick up, leave me a voicemail. But also, one of the things I do want to really encourage you to do is know that there are office hours available for this course where I am available for 2 hours a week, strictly for you. I am in the course. If I'm not talking with a student or in a session with one of you, I'm grading. I'm available via email. I'm available on my cell phone or in my office. Basically, those are hours where you can ask me questions. You can talk with me about feedback I gave you on an assignment. They are located in the syllabus. If you're logging into the syllabus, it is on the right-hand side in red, but it is going to be Fridays from 1 to 3. So if you need anything during that time, I will be in this course. We can always set up a virtual meeting to meet on via Collaborate Ultra, which is what we use for this course for virtual meetings. You can call me on my cell phone. Know that those hours are there for you. So do take advantage of them. And again, those are going to be starting, of course, today. If you all need anything throughout, of course, having finished up this first week. All right, if you need anything or you have any questions about anything I've mentioned here, and again, I know it's a lot, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you, address anything that you might have questions about. Um, and as a parting note, I know that we have a lot of things to do this semester. If you've looked through the syllabus, there's a lot of assignments coming up, and I also know that we are still existing within a pandemic, and that's stressful. Believe me, I completely understand. I understand how the challenges with it in a different sense than you all do, because I'm not a student. I work full-time at the University of West Georgia, running the Writing Center, and I teach. But I do recognize that it's stressful. And that's why within the syllabus, and I'll mention it other places as well, we're all human beings. We're all going to get through this together. But if you need something, let me know. I'm here to help you. All you got to do is just reach out, let me know, and we'll do what we can to help. I'll do what I can to help you out and help you be successful as you move forward in the course. All right, take care of yourselves. Again, get some rest. Good job getting through this first week, and I look forward to seeing more good work to come in the future weeks. Thanks.